This hair is a mess. All right, let's go. Okay, so hang on. So we're babbling, but we have this update's gigantic.
Yeah.
So originally, we've been doing an update a month,
Yeah.
and in June came, and I said, hey, I know a bunch of people taking vacation, so why don't we let you take vacation? And we won't do an update in July. We knew we weren't going to do an update in July. Let's not do an update in July. But a bunch of people didn't go anywhere, and they said instead, they're like, let's rip apart these really complicated subsystems of our game and fix these things that drive us nuts. So then we're like, oh my God, we can do a perf update in August. There's so much good perf stuff coming here. We'll get into it in a sec. It's a giant list of stuff that yeah.
It's literally a whole page of stuff on my monitor here. Yeah.
And then it became, wait a minute, that's really entracted into this piece. And now that we changed how the weapons work, because we changed this and the more stuff, like it just became so entangled. They were like, oh, we can't do this in August. We'll spend all the time untangling this. And that's not what players want. We're a small studio. We got to use our time efficiently.
Well,
since we said,
hold on, we should explain what entangled, like, because everything, like different parts of the game talk with each other. It's like network code talks with gun code, and the gun code is tied to frame rate, and like all of this stuff is interactive. And if we jack it up, if we change one bit, we have to see how it impacts the other stuff. And then there's sometimes some downstream changes that come as a result of like a perf change or a gun change or whatever. And if we don't pull all of those in when we try to make a patch, then we'll release a real buggy mess and people will be upset with us.
Yes, but also things also like latency. Latency can affect you and you go, oh, well, okay, then everything's going to be weird. But also, there's a little bit of latency can affect how the weapon feels to you. And since everybody's playing to a server, everybody's feeling some of this stuff around the weapons, and we cleaned that up. We made that really nice. We also added a little bit of sway to the weapons so they feel nice, as Matt's little touch there.
Yeah.
And just really went through and just there's a lot of little quality of life things as well as just some really deep fundamental things. Oh, here's one.
Okay.
If you are playing with somebody who has a platter disk drive,
right now,
it's full loading. Yes, like I play with Jet, Benjamin, and Ash often. Ash has a platter hard drive. She will often miss loading one of the maps. Just one of the maps, if we're playing all night, she will drop out once.
Like
no longer.
It gets disconnected because it takes longer than a minute and a half to load the game from the platter, which is
instead of what used to take 30 seconds to load, now takes 4 seconds.
Yeah.
We do some streaming stuff behind the screen, the thing we're doing.
So we stream in the level as you're playing on all discs, I guess now, but on platter discs it matters especially now. But as like one of your unintended consequences there, for a couple of good weeks while Sam was doing that work, the items were loading in the level before the level was there, so they would just fall into space, and the back half of levels would have no items in them. And it took a while. Like that kind of stuff takes a while to figure out, and then you have to figure out what the fix is for it, and then you have to test the fix, and like it ends up taking a long time. So I guess the TLDR here is we knew we were going to take a little bit longer than normal to do the update, and we've ended up packing a lot of stuff in.
Well, especially once we were like, hey, we have some time, holdout mode. We wish it worked. We wish it worked differently. We have some things that are holding us back from having it work the way we want. Why don't we just tackle those? And instead of just having it be the endless, you die eventually, like we did in Left 4 Dead. And really, we did that because that was the simplest thing to pull off. And it's fun, but it also can be frustrating and it feels overwhelming. And in our game, it feels overwhelming for an extended period. We're like, why don't we go back to the original idea of it's wave-based. Every wave that you're doing something, you unlock power. And then you eventually become so powerful that you can fight the big powerful thing at the end. And so bingo, there you go.
Yeah. A holdout. This is, I think it's either the second or third revision of Holdout at this point, depending on how you count them, I guess.
But so then that actually affects some of the specials, and some of the specials also got a change as we went from behavior trees to GOAP, GOAP.
Goal-oriented action planning is what that stands for.
And it's just the engineers changed underneath how the AI works so that the brute does some cool little things now, and like all of them do cool little things, and they behave a little bit differently. And it's subtle in some instances and really impactful in others.
Yeah, the idea there is that it's easier to extend this new framework, and we can add both new specials easier, and we can also add like new behaviors to the existing specials if we want, or tweak the behaviors of the existing specials without a lot of downstream consequences. Which is
and add variations and more specials. This was maybe because there's no specials coming.
I mean, we wanted to do this work before we made the new special so that there wasn't a whole lot of extra work down. Anyway, order of operations matters, it turns out.
Which also then we decided, hey, so with weapons, we also need to kind of revisit. So, you know, we've tried some special weapons. We tried some special weapons that were only available in Holdout or Finale. And those are really to kind of test ideas behind weapons that you could use. And so we actually, if you're in our Discord, discord.gg/StrayBombay, we asked people, hey, what did you think of those? And give us some feedback on those, because we took some of those ideas and we're building out a whole weapon system where you can find things along the way and kind of build out your favorite fantastical weapon.
Which will, like, it does two things. One, it dramatically increases the possibility space of the existing weapons that we have. And it gives like upgrade paths so that you will have by the end of the game, by the end of your session, you'll have a gun that is demonstrably different than the gun that you start with, which is, yes, I think an important, that power curve is an important part of this type of game. And
it's just not a power curve, right? It's also play style. Like, if you like playing this way, this is really going to lean into that and give you that advantage to be able to do that. If you like playing this way, you're going to be able to do that with whatever these are. And these will be always changing. It's kind of like the perks. We haven't added more perks right now because we knew this system was coming and we wanted to see what should live in a perk and what should live in a weapon. Some of our crossover will probably move some perks off into the weapons because it just makes more sense that way. Like
burst fire, pistol, for
clip size, and those kind of things. And we went and did down this path of like, hey, we should name these all crazy things because these are crazy sci-fi weapons. But ends up, there's hundreds of years of weapon terminology that people are kind of, so clip size people get an understanding of, though I think some people get very persnickety about the exact names around these things. And I'll tell you, we're not the game that really cares.
Yeah.
As long as you understand what you're doing and what you're changing. So that is coming. And that's pretty exciting.
We kind of buried the lead. Okay, so we talked about perf, we talked about load times. Our Syndra, our technical artist, did a horde pass that has completely, it's changed to the micro, like it hasn't increased the frame rate a lot, but it's made the micro stutters go away when the horde spawns, which feels like a bigger frame rate change than anything we've done to the game to date, I think. And that applies across all the hardware platforms from Xbox One all the way up to like your 3090 Ti based gaming PC. So people should be stoked about that. The gun changes we talked about a little bit. We haven't talked about the fact that episode 4 is going to roll out in beta.
Yes. So this will be a beta version of episode 4. And partially because we tried to take what we learned from the first 3 episodes, but some of that will always be a little cloudy just because you have to infer players' desires, right? So, and also you have this thing of like, is episode 1 the best episode because it's long? Is it episode 1 the most played episode because it's the first episode? Or is episode 1 our DE Dust or No Mercy, right? In the original Left 4 Dead, No Mercy is played 10 times more than any other campaign. Is it the best campaign or is it the first campaign?
It's the default campaign when you press play.
And I would argue it's also the best one. So it kind of has a lot, you blow up a gas station. It has a lot of different things. So trying to decipher there, and so we've made some changes. One of the things we realized while making our episode 4 was a lot of our maps, you move kind of from large arena space to a large arena space without ever really narrowing you down or pushing the kind of the walls around you for bigger or smaller, and we want to play with that a little bit more. There's some cool new art. You go through new parts of the ship, and what the length of that looks like and what that feels like, and then the finale originally was 2 steps, and the second step always felt like this, like, wait, we already did this crazy thing, why are we doing this? And so I think we're going to try to do 1 step, but we want to have it art passed, we want to have it in, and we want to listen to feedback around it and really make changes based on that, which means in the beginning of September, whatever that means, before September 15th, we will probably have it up in the beta build and have people have access to it so they can start giving us feedback there. And as always, this is real feedback. We actually change things. This isn't just testing it how it is on the servers. We are willing to radically change what this is. So we'll get that up and going. And that has a lot of things, as well as we may be having an environmental hazard added to the mix, kind of like how goo and fire interact. We wanted to have another element. We've been playing with that element, and it's fun now, and it looks super cool. But before we actually put it in the game, we want to make sure that it has gameplay impacting. And we are going to test that this afternoon, the most recent change of that.
I'm excited to play that, actually.
So you know what? You've got the list written down, but I have got off the top of my head. And I remember we also have a new gun coming, a new special weapon, a minigun.
Yes, I was going to get
which is just, you touch that and explodes in crazy amounts of bullets coming out, and it's fun.
Yeah, we people who beta tested I think update 4 for us maybe had miniguns in that build for a little bit, and the no art version of the, hey, what if we just made this gun shoot really fast? And it turns out it's fun to shoot aliens really fast. Who knew? Yeah. Let's see. There's a lot of new sound design stuff. Nigel's been really busy putting everything from like footsteps and ambient zombie noises, or alien noises rather, to like new holdout sounds, and there's a bunch of just sound stuff happening. The soundscape is dramatically different, especially when you go back. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but I think when I go back and play on live servers, I'm going to be really shocked at what has changed. That is kind of in the stuff that you hear about, but you notice, but don't consciously notice necessarily.
There's definitely, I was playing the other day. We were doing the weekly challenge, and
so let's see, weapon feel and timing, just a lot of general stuff. You talked about like the weapon sway and the kind of the leading the tip of the gun the direction you're aiming. Client prediction, we're changing the way client prediction works. We're adding client prediction to a bunch of stuff that didn't have it before. That is a enormous change that touches literally every part of the game. So we want to make sure that works. But the upshot is, if you're on a high lag, high latency connection, you should have a better time playing our game than you have in the past. The environment objects that went into the game with update 5, it used to be that if you hit them or aliens hit them, they'd move around. Now you can shoot them and they'll move around. That was 100% a listener, a player request. We got that. A lot of people were like, hey, I wish I could shoot the suitcases. And we're like, oh, huh, weird. Us too. And then we made it so you could shoot the suitcases. So we got that going. And then we're adding a third-person camera and replay system.
Yes.
It'll be in beta. Nope. We're going to launch it as command line only, probably with very light UI. But it turns out we can make better videos, which make it easier for us to let people know about the game and make more people want to play the game. If we can do some awesome like slow-mo, speed ramped, like brutes jumping through explosions, some super cool stuff.
Yeah, Joe's been taking amazing screenshots with that as well.
Yeah. Our screenshot and video game is improving dramatically with this update, and that'll continue. And so that's in the game. We're not going to have buttons for it in the UI, but if you are interested, we will post in the patch notes and on the Discord how to use it, so you can get in there and make your own stuff.
And something else coming, which I'm excited about, is this is like a classic example of making video games. So there's a little intro movie that plays while we're loading the game, right? So when you're on the main menu, you're looking at something. You now have a different main menu. You're actually in the jump ship, and there's some other things we're going to lead you in there. But it has always been the idea that intro movie would show you on where you start in the world, which is you start on the Anacrusis, which is a barge. You go into a jump ship, and you go to the isolode. We didn't have those assets created when we shipped, so instead we made a very 70s dancey kind of weird intro title screen to get you there. The problem is all the intro conversations are based on that idea that it's selling you that you know that you were on the Anacrusis, you took a jump ship to the isolode. So without that information, people were confused. And so now we're changing that movie to capture that so that information is given to people. And so now that'll have a little bit of things, and then the conversations will start in the safe room themselves.
The menu screen has the Anacrusis, the name, and the Anacrusis, the ship on it now. And the thing that I think a lot of people didn't get is that the Anacrusis is like your safe haven. It's there's no engines. It's just kind of floating in space, but it's
aliens
your home
haven't
base.
found it. Yeah. You're safe. Boris is there.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's everything. Okay. I think that's everything on our list. I'm sure that there's more stuff that we're forgetting.
I thought of something and I forgot about it the minute I remember the stories.
Let's see. We talked about Holdout. We talked about the new gun changes, the modular gun stuff, the minigun.
There's a couple new vocalizations of like when you throw out grenades or put up turrets, you call those out now.
Yeah.
We have a new animation.
A new emote.
emote that we'll have to give you that allows you to pet.
Whatever you want.
Wow, can you hear that? That's really loud.
I don't hear it. He does this. He gets up and walks away.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay. You can pet the cat turret is I think the intent, but I believe that it works on everything.
You can pet whatever you want.
Yeah. Look, we don't.
Unlike those, dude, can you pet the dog? You can pet anything.
Yeah. If you want to pet Lance, you can pet Lance. Maybe be careful with where your hands go is what I'm going to say. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, we're not going to gate you based on the appropriateness of what you're trying to pet. You can pet whatever you want though.
And then also, Holdout mode will also ship with additional maps. How many? In which ones? We will see, because we have some ideas. Like it's a whole, like I said, it's a whole new way it plays. It's very different. Has new music too. And so you'll be able to. We want to verify first before we say for sure that it's going to be in there. But it is looking like we are going to do some other maps as well in there that are very cool. And the Holdout mode is much more fun now, I think, than it was previously.
It's kind of morphing from like what I traditionally think of as a holdout mode, where you start in a room and you have to stay in that room and like you shoot stuff out, into something that's not quite like a Gears style horde mode. It's not quite a holdout mode. It's kind of developing into its own thing, which we're kind of stoked about.
And in that mode right now, we have a grenade that might be familiar to some people. It does some beeping, does some detracting. We wanted to play around with like that. We always like that mechanic, and so bringing it here.
Yeah, it also when we first started testing it, did an incredible amount of team damage, all the way out to the full extent of its range. And I believe that I wiped an incredibly good holdout run with that. So again, I'm sorry. I thank you for not bringing it up, Chet. I appreciate that.
Yes, we play 3 times a week. We learn ourselves during those periods of what's working, what's not working. And actually we also play other games outside as kind of testing and trying ideas.
Yeah, well, at least I would say at least 3 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Yeah, I say there's 3 official, and then there's a bunch of pickup ones when someone's like, hey, I got this in, can we test it? And in fact, in 2 hours we are going to be playing some more.
I think this time 4 today, right?
Well, I think we're going to be dealing with the weapons and how you get the weapon attachments. And so we may just do a classic map so we have an understanding of the impact versus 4, which is a little new. We should do 4 later afterwards.
I want to play 4 this afternoon. Yeah, maybe when I'm back this afternoon we can play
when you
4.
When you get back.
But yeah, that'll do. I guess that's it. This is going to be update 6, and we're on track for like end of September right now is what it's looking like. That's the conservative date, I think.
Yes. And so apologies if this is taking us for a little while to do one of these. People have been sick. There's this thing going around that has affected our studio in some ways. And that has not been good. And it's just been like, it's been a summer. It has been a weird summer for us, but we have been hard at work, but just not hard at outwardly communicating as we should be. We like to do these because we like to hear the feedback on them and what people are excited about and what we should be working on. And so I apologize for not having these out more. Because these aren't just good for us as a way to give information out for you, but we really like to hear it back from you. And so please post at discord.gg/StrayBombay. Let us know, give us some feedback on this one, what you'd like to hear next time, because we are going to get back into the groove of these. We may just do one of these every 15 minutes, and then we'll have like 500 of these. It'll be like TikTok.
I mean, look, we could do, I don't know about a 30-minute video every 15 minutes, but I think we could give it a try and see how it goes. I mean, they just keep rolling. Just never stop rolling. Never stop rolling. Never stop rolling.
Joe will just be cutting them.
And if you
endless stream.
Poor Joe. Poor Joe. But yeah, if you want to find out more about the game, we're on Steam and Xbox, and I mean those are the 2 places you can buy the game. So if you have Game Pass, you can play it right now, and you should check it out. You'll have fun.
Yeah, and hang on. It also works on xCloud.
Oh, it also works on xCloud. That's true.
xCloud is a weird, crazy thing. It works really well.
Yeah.
And it also works on a little thing called a little Steam Deck.
It does work on the Steam Deck.
So we are not officially like, hey, you're in the cool kids club, because how we do cross-platform matchmaking is having you enter a piece of data. There is a keyboard that pops up. You can do it. It's super easy. It's a part of their UI. So I don't know why they consider that out of the UI. I will have to go talk with them as my friends. But they are saying
Steam plus X to get that keyboard to pop up. That's all. That's all that's holding us back right now, as far as we can tell.
but otherwise it just works. It works really well. That is an amazingly cool little device, and you could lay in bed or on your couch or wherever you want and play some Anacrusis.
I play tests on it sometimes from the bedroom.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference because you're bad on all platforms.
Exactly.
So.
Terrible. Well, thanks, Chet. We will be back very soon with another dev blog. And if you have questions, post them in the comments. Head over to discord.gg/straybombay, and we will answer them. We will turn those Q's into A's.
Thanks everybody. Yeah, and if you have questions, please, that community's still been going, even though it's been a little bit of a quiet summer.
Look, it has been a quiet summer everywhere. Everybody has had a chill summer. We're ready to get back in. It's going to be a fantastic fall. We're gonna light some stuff on fire. We're gonna chill out. It's gonna be good.
Remember, outside you can ticks. You're gonna get Lyme disease.
No tick checks in the Anacrusis.
Nope. Down basement in your living room playing. You're safe.
Yeah, perfectly safe. See you all next time. Bye, everybody.